Right, so the last video I made, which was like 2 weeks ago, I had said that I was finally gonna start uploading videos and that they was gonna be just about me yapping about whatever the fuck I wanted to yap about. And so here it is. It's finally here. I'm finally here. I'm keeping up with my promises. Instead of waiting 6 months to upload a video, it's been 2 weeks. Thank you. It's a new record. Thank you, I appreciate it. Camera quality is fucking insane though. I know you see it. I know you see it. It's much better than it was before. You know why? Cause I got fucking lights. I got light there. I got light there. I got a light on the corner. That's a fucking fish tank light. It is. My dad gave me a fish tank light. Doesn't smell like fish. It don't stink. It's clean, but it's bright as fuck. So I mean, it's brighter than these two. I mean, like, I could probably turn these things off and you'll still see how bright it is. Like this one, that's my right one, my left. Yeah, never mind. But like I said, last video I was going to talk about games that I have played in the past 4 years, mainly like COVID times. Games that I played in the last 4 years that have impacted me, not in the sense of like made me a better person or like saved me from despair or some shit, but more of just games that I played, I enjoyed, I loved, and I really enjoyed, and just has stuck with me, and like just really like means a bit of something to me, and also how I feel like it may or may not set the scene for how the rest of the gaming industry will look like. And those games that we're talking about will be Halo Infinite, Cyberpunk 2077, Battlefield 2042, and Elden Ring. It's a random list, to be honest, but you'll notice that 3 of those games out of the 4 have one thing in common, and that is that all those 3 games had a pretty bad launch. Maybe not Halo Infinite as much as the other 2, but it was a pretty rough start. It had a pretty rough start. First game I'm talking about obviously is Halo Infinite, cause as I mentioned like in the first ever video that I dropped for Halo, I said that this is a game that's important to me. It means a lot to me. I played it since I was a kid. I played it since through my teen years. And so this was a game that for me was like the first that I got for myself. The last one that I played before Infinite was either the Master Chief Collection or it was like a Halo 4, the campaign for it. And that was years ago. That was years ago. So this is the one that I was really waiting for because it was new. It was brand new. I was finally going to experience a new Halo game like firsthand instead of either watching it on YouTube or like waiting years after for it to come out or for it to appear on like the Master Chief Collection or some shit like that. These are games, right? Like, I'm a gamer, right? But I'm not someone that really is so like really goes into details in like how certain stuff like game mechanics and set pieces and like level design and shit like that. I'm not the type of person who will really pay too much attention to intricate details like that. If I have fun, like I said in the first video that I dropped, and I said I was gonna talk about it. If I had fun, if I had a good time, then that's a good game in my opinion. I don't care about any of the rest of the stuff that occurs. It might be some bullshit in there. It might like have some immersion breaking stuff, but if I had fun and I didn't really notice it, then I don't care. Which was kind of the case for the campaign of Halo Infinite. I enjoyed it the first time around. I had fun. There was like classic feel to it, classic look to it, you know, and the classic music was there. There's a couple of things that did bother me as I was playing it, mainly story wise. Like anything else I wasn't really tripping. I wasn't tripping about no like mechanics or like graphics or anything like that. I didn't give a fuck. What I was tripping about mainly was some of the elements of the story. I didn't like the way they handled some of the characters in the game, and I didn't like the way how they handled the characters that appeared in the previous games and how they just were non-existent and damn near seemed like they completely cut them the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It was just, I just felt like I had a bunch of questions that needed answered and they never were, and I was just thrown in with a bunch of other stuff that kinda didn't really care too much about. I mean the story was cool, Some of the characters were cool. The Banish were sick as fuck. The Mexican dude, the Mexican pilot, was cool. It was a cool kind of whining, you know, for the entirety of the damn campaign up until the end. But fuck it, I guess. The villains was meh. I mean, he had Atriox, kind of not Atriox, but whatever the dude's name was, just in the background talking shit, talking smack every single like end of a mission. But he wouldn't pull up on you to do something, nor would he like do nothing. I don't think he even got a full like boss fight until towards like the end of the game, where he got like 3 or 4 boss fights. The actual boss fights were like the contract kills, but like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Those are like just kind of nothing in my opinion. The fucking Spartan Hunter shit that they introduced in there looked like a sick ass idea, but he only appeared once, and he just was supposed to be a menace, and he just wasn't really nothing. So I don't know. That was that, I guess. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. So I kind of had a second playthrough, and that's when I like really was starting to be like, it's okay, but it's definitely the best we've had so far. I didn't play Halo 5, but I watched gameplay on it, and I thought it was mid. I didn't really like it. Halo 4 was okay. It was okay. It wasn't nothing crazy. Halo Infinite isn't nothing crazy either, but it's just, in my opinion, it's just a better game over. Campaign overall is just better than the past 2 games that 343 had made. Now multiplayer though. Multiplayer is different. The thing with multiplayer though, right? And I had watched my videos. I was doing research and all this shit. I watched like a few videos and shit, like here, like, you know, the past 2 weeks, to trying to gather up data to find things to yap about. Because a lot of the stuff that I noticed, that this wasn't even things that like I watched videos for. This was just things that I noticed and I peeped. Right? For example, I noticed they were missing one piece of huge content, one piece of like massive game mode that has been in the game for a long time, which is Forge mode, which is a sort of like, you know, create your own like map out, right? That wasn't in there, right? And that has been a staple for a long time, and that has existed for a long time in the past like Halo games, and that just somehow they weren't able to implement it into this one, even though it's 2024. And they did it back in like, I don't know, 2009, 2008 type shit. Like, what's that about? Coincidentally, me talking about this, I had already had planned to talk about Halo way before then. Coincidentally, at the time that I was planning on what I was really going to talk about, I had decided that Halo was definitely going to be something I was going to talk about. I had watched one of the videos that I had watched, and the video that had dropped right then and there. The video I had watched, it's from a YouTuber called Mint Blitz. I have all the videos of all like the stuff that I watched, things that'll be more detailed on stuff that I'm gonna talk about down in the description down below if you want to check them out. The video that I watched, he basically, and it was just all in the title. Everything I needed to know was in the title. That 343 was gonna have like finally give out this one last final like massive update to the game, and that to me, high key was like, I got upset over that, because the gaming industry has introduced a new model. I mean, it's existed for a while now, since like Fortnite, but the model of the live service model, which basically is developers can put out a game, and just instead of just having the product be what it is, just over time they can work on it and just update it and just put in more stuff into it to make the game better, which it sounds like a good idea. It sounds amazing. It's an amazing concept. But the things that we have seen, and which is also part of the other things that have existed in these other games that I'm gonna talk about, is how it's the wrong way to do it. What we saw with Halo Infinite, what we saw with Cyberpunk, and what we saw with Battlefield 2042, and even like Call of Duty, some of the past Call of Duty games, and it's the same shit. Well, these developers will release a game that isn't even ready. It's like nowhere near ready, but they just gotta push it out because they gotta meet deadline day. And it's nowhere near ready. It's a broken game. It's a bullshit game. It has nothing in it, but it's all good because just give them a little bit of time and they'll turn the game into something that they promised. That to me is absolutely bullshit, because they will still charge you a full price. Granted, Halo Infinite is a free game, or at least the multiplayer side was. But they promised the product, a complete package, a complete product, and they put it out and it was nowhere near complete. Like, come on now. It's free, it's live service, yes, but come on now. Come on now. You just gonna give me bullshit and expect me to wait for you to finally do something? You expect me to just accept this product that isn't even complete and just wait 4 years for it to finally be complete? Like, what is that? I mean, there was a ton of issues. I mean, they at first there was lack of content. There was only like 4 game modes in the game, which is wild considering that all the other games had like a crap ton of game modes in them the moment that they launched, and these games are old as shit, and we're talking about a game that came out in 2020. I mean, yeah, that's 4 years ago, but I'm talking about games that are like 20 years old now, 20 to 25 years old now. Like, that's crazy to me. I mean, it was missing like so much, and like you had a theater mode that doesn't work. You had a custom games mode that doesn't work. You had no progression system. I mean, you can hop in a game, go crazy, and you get no rewards for that. Absolutely nothing. They introduced the battle pass, which obviously is almost like the goddamn standard, unfortunately now. Unfortunately. But it's not the typical thing that you would expect. I mean, instead of just going into a game, playing and just doing your own thing, and at the end of the match you get points or experience or whatever that'll progress the battle pass. Now you have to do specific challenges in order to make progression on the battle pass, but those challenges were not easy. Those challenges were super inconvenient, and some of them were just too difficult. I'm talking about challenges with like get 5 shade turret kills, 7 headshot kills with a pistol, graduate from college, get a job, become a millionaire, get married, start a family, form a clan, take over the world, and bring peace and security to your new empire. And then, and only then, will you get a tiny bit of progression in the battle pass. And it comes down to you only have 2 choices. You either play the way you want and get absolutely nothing for it, or you play the way the game wants you to play if you want to progress the battle pass. It's absolutely bullshit. I mean, and thankfully, obviously, things have changed over the years. They've changed things. They've added more content into the game, more game modes. They've changed up the battle pass system where now you can just hop into a game, play the way you want, and still get something towards the battle pass. And as well as changing up the challenges, instead of dictating the way you play, sometimes you just got to go in there and just do your thing, and you'll get rewards for it. You probably have a few things here and there that will that you probably still gotta like play a certain way, but it's optional. You don't have to do it, because if you play whatever the way you want, and you'll still get progression over the battle pass. But that's the whole thing about this, and it's the same shit with Cyberpunk and with Battlefield, is that these games came out and they just were not ready. They weren't complete. They were nowhere near completion, and yet they gave out so many promises beforehand, like, oh, this game is going to be amazing, it's going to be the next best thing, this is it right here, only for it to be released, and it's bullshit. And then come out with just apology letters. I mean, Halo Infinite it's a good ass game now. There's a lot to offer. I mean, the custom games I think works, I'm not too sure. Theater mode works, and the Forge mode works. It's just wild to me that it took damn near like 3 to 4 years for this game to be the complete package that they promised the game would be. Like, that's bullshit, because you had to, and not only that, but now it's done, and now they're most likely going to move on as this is like the final update. And that to me is bullshit. How are you promised that this game was going to be it was going to be a platform for the next 10 years, and now you're saying nah, this is the final thing, this is it, we're gonna start moving on to the next one, which I understand. I mean, from what I've heard in the videos, the engine that they're using, it just doesn't work. I mean, there's a lot of issues still that they with these games, and I'm sure that they want to just move on and try to like finally, maybe, hopefully get something right. Then that could be the game that they promised Halo Infinite would be. But it just sucks that we spent the majority of the lifespan of this game just dealing with nothing but bullshit. You know what I mean? Just dealing with lack of content, bullshit battle passes, games like game modes not working, game modes missing that have been there in the past, like the past games. But it is what it is, I guess. I mean, it's fun. So I mean, if you're someone that enjoyed it and you don't give a fuck, kind of like me, I give a fuck but I don't give a fuck, then by all means, I mean, it's your thing. It's a Halo game, it works, it's fun, it's cool. I mean, ain't really much else we can do at this point. Next game I am talking about that I'm really, it's crazy because I used to have this, I had this game on my YouTube channel as well. You check, and I think it might be like one of the first, I think it's one of the first, like, I think the second video that I had made was the introduction to Cyberpunk. And at first I started playing, you'll see that I have like 3 videos, and I didn't really look like I was having fun. I think like you can probably see that I was kind of just, I was just there recording just to record. I was just not having the greatest of time. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. I was really having fun. Yeah, I didn't really have any like crazy bugs. I think the only thing I even saw was like a flying car, but that was about it. Nothing crazy. I had dropped the game. I didn't play it for like a couple years. I don't think up until the Edge Runner anime series came out. I didn't play it because of it, but I've seen so many people praise the anime and at the same time like talk about how the game has changed, the game was playable. And so I decided to give the game a shot, and I jumped straight back to it. And it was a game that I actually ended up falling in love with. I didn't think it was gonna be a game that I was gonna enjoy. At least at first I didn't, because I mean, when I first played it, I didn't like the way the driving's like felt. I didn't like how the gunplay felt. It felt weird. I didn't understand like the attribute tree and like the map system or in like the journal stuff. I didn't really understand it. I didn't know what was going on. But once I came back and it was like a massive overhaul, there was like so many changes, so many good changes, and so I couldn't stop playing. I kept playing it until I was just done. I'm on my second play. I finished the game like a long time ago. I am on my second playthrough. Once I can get my hand on the DLC that came out for it, I'm probably gonna end up recording some footage for that. Up until then, I don't know. I might just be something I play for myself. I don't know. But it's definitely like one of my favorites that it definitely ended up becoming one of my favorites, and I'm actually really glad that I gave it another shot and that I gave it a thorough play. I played it, like I said, I'm on my second gameplay now. If you haven't played it before and you want to, and I'm like, you've heard all the bullshit that it came with at launch and you're skeptical, I'd say give it a try. I mean, like, I think it looks good. I think it's fun. I've enjoyed it. The bugs that were there, they shouldn't be there anymore. I played it on PC, and I know that there was like a lot of issues that it had on consoles, specifically on the old gen consoles. But I mean, I'm sure it's completely changed now and it's gotten better. Like I said, I've played it again, and it's just gotten better. After like I finished it, I haven't played it in a while. I played it recently just to get some footage. This is the footage here. And it still looks cool to me. The driving though, they kind of fucked up on the driving. I don't know what they did to the driving. The driving ended up coming a little bit worse again. I can't even like drive fast without crashing into somebody or like crashing into a person. I can't turn for shit, as you can probably like end up seeing. But I mean, it's a game that I love. It again was a game that I really put so much into. The story was fantastic. The new gunplay that they had was great. The driving that they had before the latest update was great. I know they just had another update that improved what it had, so I don't know. I have to jump in again and like check it out and see what's good. Hopefully sometime soon I can get onto Phantom Liberty and play the DLC, and you know, maybe have something put out there for people to watch. That in my channel finally upload some more shit. But it's one of those same issues. I've watched the videos again. Links will be in the description, I promise. But I've seen videos and like it kind of almost the same thing. This game had like almost probably like 10 years, 15 years I think of development, and yet when it was coming out, it was just horrid. 10 to 15 years ago, like CD Projekt Red had announced that they were gonna make a game called Cyberpunk, and so it's been like at least like they've been at least planning this shit and working on it for a long time. So it's still a surprise to me that when it came to launch, it was horrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. I know they've had their own issues, like a lot of development issues, leadership issues, like a whole bunch of issues that they had surrounding this game, and you know, a bunch of like date pushbacks, and it was crazy. But again, it's just another game that, you know, it took like about 2 years, I think like about a year or two for it to finally be the game that they had promised it to be. And it's like, again, it's even worse because they had like a heck of long for it to be ready. Yet this shit, and it was still came out, and it was just nowhere near the product that they had promised it. And it was still a game that is missing. It's another game that's missing a lot of content. There's a lot of content that's been cut out of it. Again, which is crazy to me because there's already a lot of stuff in it, but they've cut out so much, and it's just crazy. When I played it, even then when I played it, there was a lot of stuff that was missing, and from the video that I had watched, there was even more stuff missing that wasn't there before I played it. And that's wild, because the game that I played, again, it already seemed like it was incomplete. So I can't even imagine how it really was at launch. I know a lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about it and how like incomplete it was. I didn't really get to experience it at launch. I experienced it sometime after I think the launch came. But that's just crazy. That's wild. But I mean, they made it come up. They made a comeback. They didn't give up on it. They continued to, like, you know, work on it and have the game be what they kind of promised it to be, which again goes back to what I said with Halo, with how much this live service bullshit is. That's like, they promise you a complete game, and when they give it to you, it's nowhere near complete, but they're like, it's cool, it's good, don't worry about it. Give us 3 years to give you the product that we said we'd give you today. It's ridiculous. The other game that I was gonna talk about on this video, in this yapping ass video, was Battlefield 2042. Now, this is also a game that I enjoyed it. I had fun. But it's also a game that also had a lot of its fucking issues. I mean, launch being atrocious. I had seen so many videos on how bad it had came out. So much stuff missing. The way that they've set things up in the game was stupid. So many bugs, which I've seen so many clips of, and it's hilariously bad. It's not even bugs that make you laugh. It's bugs that you see them and you just think, what is even going on? Why? Why would they still charge a full price for something that is nowhere even near the finish line of it being complete? It's crazy. When I finally got my hands on it, it wasn't bad. Like, there was they already had made a lot of improvements on the game. They had fixed a lot of the bugs. They had fixed a little bit of the class system. So when I played it, I didn't really get to experience the horrible shit that was in Battlefield 2042, but I can only imagine how bad it was. I got my hands on it like a year or two after it was released, and already by then, like, they had already made a lot of progress into making it a better game, which again, like, you know, it's cool that they didn't give up on it, that they, instead of like giving, you know, instead of saying fuck it, we fucked up, on to the next. So again, it surprised me that to this day, you know, it's doing good. Player count is up, I believe. The game is doing good. They've updated a lot of its shit. They've added more content into it. You know, they've made it better. It's still not, from what I've heard, a great Battlefield game. It's kind of the first one that I've like fully played. I've played 5 a little bit, but Battlefield 2042 is like the first actual like Battlefield game that I can say that I for sure played. Like, this is a game that I poured in a lot of time to. Now, the other game that I'm for surely talking about, and this game I actually really look. This is a game that I for sure had a bit more of an impact than the rest of them, and that's Elden Ring. Elden Ring, I fell in love the moment I started playing. The moment I stepped into the game, I was already into it. I was already in love. And it was crazy to me. It's my first From Software's like Souls-like game that I've ever played before, ever. I haven't played any of the other ones, but this one I absolutely loved. I know there was a lot of people who didn't like it because of how difficult it was, and they didn't like, you know, it was just too bullshit. Like, they just couldn't progress in the game because they felt like it was a bit unfair. It was very challenging. I felt the challenge when I first played. I was getting fucked. I mean, the first like actual fight I had, aside from fighting that mini boss that you fight when you first, like, you know, start the game, the first like fight that I actually have, I'm getting mollywopped. I'm getting my shit kicked in, and that's how I knew what kind of game I was getting into. I was getting into a game that was unforgiving on my skill level and on how many mistakes I would make. But I mean, over time, I kept playing it, and I got fucking good. I got good. One of the things that I said that Cyberpunk, the reason why I kind of stopped playing it was I didn't understand what was going on. This game, I had no fucking clue what was going on. I was just out here doing shit. I had no idea what I was doing. But the only difference is I was actually having fun. I was having fun doing the shit that I was doing. So I didn't give a fuck what the story was. I didn't care what the story was. I was just out here doing shit. It wasn't until that I beat the game that I said, fuck it. I need to watch videos and I need to watch like the lore shit to know what was going on, because I had no idea. I had no clue what was going on. I just knew that I was there just to kill, and that was it. That's all I knew. And I did it with strength and faith. Not literally, but literally. And I will use summons. I will use summons if I fucking want to. I don't give a fuck. It's in the game. It's part of the game. It was made for a reason, and I am using it. I do not care. I mean, at least I use it for my first playthrough. Second playthrough and third playthrough, I'm not really using it anymore because I understand the game now, and I'm giving myself more of a challenge. Instead of relying on a summon, I'm just relying on my own skills and my own abilities to, you know, get through the game, which I already have. I did a no summons run already, and I'm doing it again. Although I haven't played in a long time. Man, it was just such a fucking good ass game, and I'm so glad that I ended up picking it up and I listened to what everybody was saying on TikTok. Cause that's how that TikTok was the reason why I even got into it anyways. I've seen so many people applaud it. I saw so many people say how great it was, how fun it was. I saw a lot of the funny memes, and I didn't look. And I'm glad that I got into it. I'm glad that I got that experience, and that is something that you ever sit down and think, man, if only I can forget what something was, what I had already experienced before, just so I can experience again. Elden Ring is that. I wish that I had completely forget and have no knowledge of what Elden Ring was or is, just so I can go into it again and have that brand new experience, because there was nothing like it. There was absolutely nothing like it. I'm gonna be real, I am planning on actually finally finishing up, like, uploading the clips of my first playthrough of the game. I mean, all of them is on my streams, on my VODs in the stream, but I do want to like condense it down into like 15 20 minute videos so I can finally upload them and have more stuff there. They're not gonna be like the episodic type shit. It's just gonna be me in Elden Ring just doing my shit, fucking around. And then maybe after that, once I'm done, like when I finally upload like the first one, I might do more like videos, but more kind of just random shit, like doing different builds and shit and just trying them out, or you know, I'll figure something out. I mean, I ain't got no much more to say about Elden Ring. It was just Elden Ring it was that game, and it won Game of the Year. It deservedly won Game of the Year. I'm waiting on that DLC, and I don't know when the fuck they're dropping it, but I really hope it's soon. I really hope it's soon. I don't know what's going on. It's been too long. I was hoping they would have dropped it this year, or at least a trailer, or at least something to quench my hunger, but they never did. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Yeah, so it's clear how much Elden Ring meant to me. It's obviously evidently clear that it was something special to me, and it's definitely, because I mean, it was another game that I played throughout COVID times, so I know there's other, like, so From Software has a bunch of games. I mean, the Dark Souls series I could eventually jump into. The only reason why I haven't jumped into them is mainly because of how convenient Elden Ring like is, in the sense of how intro player friendly it is. Because I've heard the critiques that the Dark Souls games have. I've seen how they play. I can already tell that if I jump in those games, I'm gonna play them and I'm gonna hate how things are set up, which is gonna be unfair to the game, because it is those games are very old. So I think it's gonna be unfair for me to just be like, yeah, man, I'm not having fun because of how these games are, because in this game I'm able to do this, but in this game I can't. I just think it's unfair. And I mean, I've watched videos on how they look. I've watched videos on the lores, on the stories of it, And again, just absolutely captivating, even without playing it. I know I won't have those moments that many players have, but it's still such a captivating game. The series are still very much captivating. I mean, I could probably play Bloodborne, and maybe I might do that and Sekiro, but we'll see. All right, that's me done yapping. I've been yapping for heck long. So I don't know when the next video will be. I don't know what the next video will even be about. I'm gonna see. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all those other videos that I mentioned before. They're gonna be in the links in the description. The links will be in the description down below with all the other YouTubers as well. You can check them out too. Cool dudes that I've checked out. So yeah. Also, when am I gonna start streaming again? I have no clue. I have no idea. I mean, I got classes. I'm busy with classes. So I don't know, but we'll see. I really want to, especially with this new setup that I got. That I'm hoping. I mean, I'm recording all this, so it kind of looks good, right? I don't know what the finishing product will be, but I mean, it is what it is. Honestly, like I said, this is probably even no matter how it looks, probably is gonna be better than how it used to be anyway. So can't really complain. But yeah, for finally. I'll catch y'all later. Adios.